Now for the second fundamental rule of hand reading. Don't assume your opponents know what you have. Your cards are face down, and they are for a reason, because your opponents don't know what you have. You know what you have, but they don't. Many people seem to play as if they assume their opponents know what they have. They bet, someone raises them, and they say, "How could you raise me? I have pocket aces." Well, they don't know that. Don't make that mistake. It's a common one. It sounds silly, but it's a very common mistake, and if you see yourself making it, catch yourself. Here's an example that another friend of mine played. One player limped. They were next, and they had ace-king offsuit, the ace of spade, king of diamonds. They raised. Everybody folded to the big blind. Who called? And the limper called. The flop came king of hearts, 10 of hearts, 8 of spades, so they flopped top pair. Check to the friend, who bet. The big blind call, and now the limper check raised. And when he was relating the hand to me, this is what he said. He said, "Well, I figured he must be able to beat ace-king. I mean, I raised before the flop, and then a king came. Why would he check raise me and the caller if he couldn't beat ace-king? I figured maybe he had a flush draw, but that was the only thing I could think of. Otherwise, he had to have either two pair or a set." Since I figured he might have a flush draw, I called. So my friend called, and the guy behind him called. The turn was the 7 of hearts, putting 3 hearts on board. It was checked to the flop check raiser, and he bet. My friend then said, "Well, he either has a hand that could beat ace-king on the flop, or now he's got a flush, so I'm going to fold." So my friend folded. Turns out that fold was terrible, because when the hand ended, the guy who check raised turned over king 4. In other words, he flopped top pair king with no kicker, and the ace-king was good the whole way. My friend convinced himself, though, that he must have been beaten, because his opponent couldn't possibly check raise a pre-flop raiser without being able to beat ace-king. He knew that he had ace-king, but he forgot that his opponents had no idea. Top pair looked pretty good to the guy who check raised. I mean, the raiser could have all sorts of hands. Ace-queen, ace-jack, pocket queens, pocket jacks. He may not have even thought that far. Maybe he just thought, "I have top pair, I raise." There's no reason my friend should have assumed that the guy knew that he had ace-king, because he didn't. He didn't know. Nobody could know. The cards were face down. My friend made this mistake of assuming that other people knew his hand just because he knew what he had, and therefore that their raise meant that that hand was beaten. Never fold good hands because you assume that other people know you have them.